Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the Lord's elect. Yahweh is the true name of the Most High, who the world calls God, Jehovah, or Yahweh. All right, Yahweh is ancient Hebrew, and it means he exists. Yahweh Shai is the one and only true name of who this world calls Jesus Christ, Yeshua, or anything else. Yahweh Shai means he deliver or he savior. All right, we're the real Hebrew Israelites, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, those are all bywords that were given to us by our enemy. All right, which our enemies are the other nations, in particular the so-called white man, the Edomite. That's his true nationality, the Edomite, the descendant of Esau, Edom, who's the wicked in the scriptures. All right, so we know we're living in the last days and we're entering into some very trying times because we're in the time of Revelation 12 and 12, where this devil, the Edomite, is coming down with great wrath upon this earth. All right, amping up and prepping his society for a digital new world order, where he's going to make his mark, the mark of the beast is that microchip. He's going to implement that in this earth and make it mandatory to have everyone under a digital database. Okay, and everything you see in this society is prepped for that, you know, with his technology. Okay, so you see the title of this lesson is going into faith. And as we know, it says it in it says it in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, that without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. All right, so we'll start here in Romans 1 and 17. It reads, "For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith." All right, and where's that written? In the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. All right, going into, you know, Esau, Edom, this devil, and this time we're in, when he's, you know, coming down with wrath, like Revelation 12 and 12 says the just shall live by his faith. All right, so that's going to become more, you know, apparent when this society completely shuts down and comes to an end. And, you know, certain believers will be snatched up, thrown in concentration camps. You know, others will be living off grid. All right, solely depending on the Most High and his miracles. All right, certain brothers will have to face, you know, a guillotine for not bowing down and taking the chip. All right, and our faith is going to get us through all of that. So when it says here, from faith to faith, that's different levels. So we're on a certain level of faith right now. All right, but, you know, we don't even know the extent of our faith because, you know, this society is still going on. You know, things are still comfortable to an extent, you know, although, you know, it's squeezing, you know, things are still comfortable. We all got a roof over our head, you know, groceries, you know, getting our daily bread out here, you know, things of that nature. All right. But this devil is getting ready to strip these people, you know, including us, of certain comforts and even necessities in this place. All right. So, you know, our future faith is going to be on a higher level, because we're going to have no choice but to depend on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and his miracles and believe in what these scriptures say. All right, believe in that divine intervention. Believe in what was promised to us. Believe that Daniel 12 and 1 is going to take place, where Michael the archangel comes down and defends the elect. All right, believe that during the time of famine, when all these people are without, we're going to eat. You know, believing in all that. Okay, so our faith is getting ready to be taken to higher levels. All right, let's see what it says in the NLT. It says, "This good news tells us how the Most High makes us right in his sight. This is accomplished from start to finish by faith. Yeah, from start to finish. Because when you first came into the truth, you know, you had a small level of faith. Okay. When you first heard this word and you believed that this was the truth. Hey, that was your faith right there being manifested. All right. And then, you know, you called on the names, you know, various times throughout your walk in this truth, and the Most High delivered you from certain things upon calling on those names that put you on an even higher level of faith. All right. The Most High getting you out of jams, certain situations, you know, angels being present. You know, the Lord may have shown you certain miracles already, micro miracles, and maybe you haven't even shared it or told anyone. It's just between you and the Lord. All right. That all puts us on higher levels of faith. So the point is how much more entering into this time that we're coming into. So finishing this off in the NLT, it says, as the scriptures say, it is through faith that a righteous person has life. Yeah, that's the only way we have life, is through our faith, right? Which leads to our hope, our hope of salvation. And in the end, to all of this madness that we're vexed by and experience on a daily basis here in this society. All right. So there's some precepts, a few precepts I want to get. Let's see. We'll get this first one here in Mark 9:23. It reads, Yahushua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Right. Just think about the miracles Yahushua performed. You know, those healing miracles. You know, he has spiritual power. He was able to walk on water, turn water to wine. You know, and what is that? Manipulating elements. You know, power over demons. Right. To cast out demons from certain, healing them of their ailments. Right. So Yahushua told his disciples, you know, who became the apostles, and he's telling us, you know, through his word, that all things are possible. All right. Peter was an example. You know, well, all the disciples, you know, ended up with spiritual power, especially when you read through the book of Acts. You know, Peter, when he saw Yahushua, you know, walking on the sea in that storm, what did he do? He hopped off the boat and walked towards him. And for a minute, he was walking on water. All right. Peter was walking on water. But then he got, you know, troubled by the waves and, you know, the surroundings. And he started to sink, and Yahushua pulled him up. All right. So think about the example from faith to faith, different levels of faith. Think about the disciples who became apostles. You know, Peter went from that, you know, from being in a doubtful spirit at times, you know, to the point where the Lord even had to cuss him out. All right. Peter went from that to, when you read in the book of Acts, he became so powerful that someone was healed by looking at his shadow. All right. Just him walking by. All right. And his shadow healed somebody. That's the type of faith. All right. And confidence, which the word confidence, con means with, and fidence means faith. That's the type of faith that Peter was walking around with. All right. Well, Yahushua said it here. All things are possible to him that believeth. So that's all we have to do is believe. You know, that's how we'll get spiritual power. All right. That's how the Most High will reveal his miracles to us. All right. When we believe, and it's different levels, as we're getting ready to see in this time we're approaching. Okay. So let's get this other precept in Matthew 19. We'll go straight to the point. Matthew 19:26. But Yahushai beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, all things are possible. All right, so that's good. I got this scripture because in this time we're coming into of Jacob's trouble, we're going to find ourselves in so-called impossible situations, right? Situations where there seems to be no way out, just like our forefathers found themselves in. Examples of old, Daniel in the lion's den, right? The 3 holy sons thrown in that furnace. That was an impossible situation. All right. No man thrown inside of a fiery furnace is supposed to come out alive and untouched. All right. That's called humanly impossible. But like Yahushai said here, with the Most High, with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, all things are possible. All right. And what did those 3 holy sons walk in that furnace with? Faith, belief in Yahweh. All right. So that's the same type of faith we have to have. And we will have if we're of the elect, Lord willing. See? Yeah, so we're going to find ourselves in similar situations during Jacob's trouble. Let's grab this. We'll probably end it with this one here in Isaiah 41. Starting at verse 17. And it reads, when the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, will hear them. I, the power of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. All right. And what is the Most High saying here? That he's going to make a way when there seems to be no way. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together, that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath done this, and the Holy One of Israel hath created it. All right, so in this time we're coming into when, things happen in our favor, when the Lord shows that he's with us through his miracles, his divine intervention. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, and that's how he's going to be exalted. That's a part of how he's going to be exalted in this earth. So actually, let's end it here in Psalm 46. Psalm 46:10, it reads, be still. All right, now since we're on the topic of faith, when you go into this word still, the root word is amawan, meaning faith. All right, so have faith. Be still and know that I am Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The power of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. All right, so this is a huge comfort. All right, and knowing that the Most High Creator, the controller of all things, is with his elect. All right. He's with us. And he's going to make that evident in the time we're coming into, which is why it states in in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, then shall it be known who are my chosen. All right. It's going to be made plain. So hopefully this lesson was edifying. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Waharakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.